and waning crescent. The waning crescent grows thinner and rises even later until the sunlight of the moon faces away from the earth again. So over here you have to have the time where, or the moon has to have this time where the sunlight will face only this part of the moon, only one part, or depending on the part of the moon, okay? It says, how often do we have a full moon? That is something that I wish I could know, how often we have a full moon, okay? Because it's so rare where I see it full, and it's really cool when I see it in a different color. The 8 phases make up one moon cycle. A complete moon cycle takes 29.5 days. How long is each phase? Well, it depends. I think it depends of how many does it takes for each one. It says 29.5 divided by 8. Here they're taking the days, 29.5, divided by the number of the phases, 8 phases, equals 3.6. That means that depends how many it takes. Well, we will see 3 days or 4 maybe. After every 3 or 4 days, you will see the change in the shape of the moon. Do you notice a pattern in the moon phases? Yes, you can observe the pattern according over here. How can it change? It's almost the same, like I said, the same pattern. The only difference is that depending on the direction, okay? Depends on if it has 3, depends if it's 3 or 4 days, okay? So that means that today is Wednesday, just an example. And so that means that maybe on Friday or Saturday, you're going to see a change in the shape of the moon, okay? It depends. That means that you have to look today at night, how does the moon look, and count 3 or 4 or 5 days later and see if it changes, okay? That's one part of the experiment, or it's one part of the key language, how you can analyze this type of moon cycle. Did you notice a pattern is the moon phases? It looks like there is a pattern, okay, depending on the time. And look at this image. This image shows you almost the pattern, how it goes into full moon, third quarter, okay, first quarter, the waxing or mining, the waxing or the mining crescent. It's really cool. Or it says, as the moon makes it way all around the earth, you can see a series of illuminating portions. Portions, a group of something, depending on what you're talking about, of a circle that grow wider or thinner. The moon sometimes looks like a banana, other times it looks like half of a circle, and sometimes it looks like a big round ball. And yes, it looks like a banana because it's thin. It's thin, it has the shape of a banana, and what's at the half part, that means it's at the third quarter. This is a visual pattern you can observe throughout the moon, throughout the month, okay? Yes, that means that throughout the month you can see the different phases of the moon, okay? Let's take a look. The moon phases can also be described as a series of numbers. So I suggest you to underline that part or write it down, because this maybe will come in the quiz, okay? The moon phases can also be described as a series of numbers. Since we can only see half of the moon, you can divide the visible face of the moon into 4/8. So over here it says that remember over here that I said there are only 8 like steps, let's call it steps, or 8 steps or 8 faces of the moon, right? So over here what they're doing is that they grab 4/8, okay, depending on what they're talking about. It says waxing and waning crescent 1/8, first and third 2/8, which can be separated by 1/4, waxing and waning gibbous 3/8, and full new moon 4/8, which can be simplified to half. 1 second. So over here, if you observe, it depends on the number of the faces. Over here will be 8, okay? And then what you're going to do is just divide it with the visible face, okay, depending on the time. This is what I was telling you over here, that this previous information is related to this one. You're starting by the 0 and go 1/8 all the way to 1/8, okay? That means that you have to maintain it the same level. If you observe 2/8 and 2/8 from top to bottom over here, it's almost the same thing depending on the position of the image, okay? It says moon cycle races from increasing and decreasing series of fractions. Do you think this pattern would change if we were able to see the dark and the matters or in the size of the moon? Yes, there will be a change, okay? Maybe, because it depends. Well, it depends on the care of everyone, okay? It depends to see if they really have a pattern. Maybe they don't, and we want to see us in a different perspective, okay? The universe, the appearance of many events, this depends on the owner's point of view. The constellation in the night sky are groups of stars, but we see them as dim twinkling lights. If you were the pilot of a futuristic spaceship, how will your perspective of the solar system change? Well, in this case, I would like it to change it into this way where you can only from your phone see how does the moon looks like, okay? Help yourself or help in the application of the phone, trying to not turn off immediately or doing other type of activities. Now let's take a look at this word treasure. Okay, this word treasure, remember that every Thursday or Friday, depending on the day, I select to say the dictation from the keywords, okay? That means that you just have to study them and I give you the definitions. I include the definitions because I want to know if you really understand what is it about, okay? Use your Google if you don't know some things. Translate some things in Google if you want, okay? It says over here, listen and repeat after me. Hemisphere, hemisphere,
Hemisphere.
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 okay. Pattern,
Pattern.
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 pattern,
Portion.
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 portion,
Sunlit.
Sunlit.
sunlit,
Waning
Waning
gibbous.
gibbous.
waning gibbous,
Waxing
Waxing
crescent.
crescent.
waxing crescent, waxing crescent. So guys, this is all from this key language. I suggest you to take a look in your free times when you have the opportunity. Check the sources, okay, where they found this type of information, okay, the links and everything, okay, to see what is it about, to know more a little bit about math, okay, if they like. Now, this is all from the key language. I hope that you like this type of key and you did understand it really careful. Remember that I can answer your questions in the forum. Okay guys, well I hope that you like this key language because it's really cool, okay, to know a little bit more about the moon, okay, the phases of the moon cycle, to know the names of each phase, and to see how many times or how many days does it takes to know when there is a full moon, okay? So now let's focus on the learning log activities, pages 132 to page 134, okay? If you observe here in these pages, you have several type of questions, okay? You have different images, I see numbers, okay, and I see some charts, okay, I see some addition. So let's try to look at it, try to see what is involved in these 3 pages, okay. So that means that you're going to check it, okay, in some minutes, to analyze each page. Look at the content, look at the questions, what are they asking for, and to figure out what is this going to be about. Okay, what are we going to solve today for our activities? So for this activity, I will give you 5 minutes to check each page. Okay, check everything, check the key information that says there, check the work it out activities. Okay, so in 5 minutes, check all what includes in these pages. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, guys. Well, I hope that you had enough time to check every page, okay, to see what is it about, what's involved of it, okay. So now, let's start by looking at page 132, okay, from this week, and well, we will start by observing this purple information that's located to your right, okay, like always. Well, first see what is this about the information that gives there, and then we're going to continue on the exercises below, okay. So let's check this out. It says it is possible to identify a rule of for groups of numbers or figures that occur in a regular or repeated way. This is known as a pattern formation. To identify the relationship between two figures, we look for a pattern. In this sequence, the pattern is to add two squares to the previous figure. So if you look over here, these are the squares that they're talking about, okay? Take a look. You have two purple, over here you have two purple, and two purple. But guess what? Let's look at the other color. I see only 3 pairs of orange, 2 pairs of blue, and 1 pair of green. So what does this mean? It says number of squares. Over here, number of squares. These 2 squares are 2 squares. So let's try to do this together. 2 squares referring to this number. But it says add 2. You're going to add 2. So over here, they added 2 more squares from a different color for you can identify it. That means that the total that you have now from here is 4. But guess what? If you add 4 plus 2 more squares, what happens? And let's take a look at the squares. You have 2 purple, 2 orange, and 2 blue. So let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's a total of 6 squares, you see? But if we add 6 plus 2, how many will you have? So let's count one more time to the other pair of squares. 2 purple, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That means you have 8 squares. Okay? So what happens if I decide to add 2 more? How much will I have? Then I will have 10. So on and so on. You see, this is really simple, okay? Here is a number of squares. This is a sequence. They start by 2. And they add 2. Oh, sorry. They add 2 to each sequence, okay? Or in this case, to each figure. They're adding 2 figures depending on the pattern, okay? So now let's take a look on the exercise below. And on exercise number 1 says, look at the calendar and circle the days of the year you get your report card. So let's check this out. Located to your left of the exercises, you have this big orange calendar. So it starts from January and finishes to December. And I see little small letters on top. I think they're referring about the day. Maybe it starts by Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Saturday and Sunday are colored orange, okay? And if you observe, January has 31 days, February 28, and so on, okay? So this is your calendar, and it says that you have to circle the days of the year you get your report card. The report card is the card where you receive your grades, okay? So this is depends on the bimester that we are on, okay? So that means that you have to analyze it, remember a little bit. If you remember from this year, then focus from the previous year, okay? So right here the answers will vary a lot because it depends on each student if they remember when they got their report card, okay? Then once you remember, then what you have to do, you have to answer these questions. Question number 1, 2, and 3. Let's take a look at the questions. Question number 1 says, is there a pattern to the days you receive your report card? So now, for example, I receive my report card January. I receive it on the last day of January. February I receive it on the no, because it's one. On February I don't receive it. On March I receive it on the 28th. On April I receive it maybe at the end. No, I receive it on May. So on May I receive it like around May 10th. Then on June I receive it. July I receive it on July the 24th, the 23rd. On August I receive it. No, I don't receive it in August. I receive it on September, the half part of September 20, so on. Okay, this is just something that I'm trying to calculate. It depends. Okay, I don't have the days with exactitude, but well, imagine that you receive your report card like this, okay, every 2 months maybe. Okay, depends on the day. So it says, is there a pattern on the days that you receive your report card? Maybe there is, there's not. It depends. We will check this out, okay? Number 2, write the numbers you circle in increasing order. Increasing, okay, so it means from the lowest number to the toppest number, okay? This is an example, okay? Yeah, it's not, this doesn't match with this information over here, obviously not, but this is just an example of what it means, how you have to organize the numbers, okay, from the lowest number to the increasing number to the toppest number, okay, the highest number. Question number 3 says, what is the relationship between the circled number and the calendar? What's the relationship that you see and the numbers that you circle? Okay, well, I see it happens every 2 months on the last days or the last week of the month, maybe. Okay, I see it happens every 2 months on the first weeks of the month. Okay, it depends. Okay, it depends on the days that you circle, and if you don't know the days of the year that you get your report card, then invent it. Okay, don't worry about it, then invent it like I did it in a moment. Okay, we just want to use this calendar to answer these following questions. Okay, now guys, if you don't have your learning logbook, then I suggest you to just write the numbers. Okay, just answer the questions. In this case, that means that you don't have to circle now, nothing, sorry. But if you have your learning logbook, then circle the days of the year, okay, when you get your report card. So for this activity, I will give you 5 minutes, okay, to do it, and then we're going to check together our answers. Okay, so ready? 1, 2, 3.